the NewsChannel 5 network. This is Urban Outlook. This program sponsored by Connie London, a certified agent at the Insurance Exchange.
Hello and welcome to Urban Outlook. I'm April Eaton. Thank you so much for being with us today. You know, our young people, our youth, they are doing some fantastic things. They're always on the go, it seems. Many of them have accomplishments. They have stronger voices. We know that sometimes those societal ills plague a few of those young people, but for the most part, it seems like they are sort of power forces in our community in this day and time. But they don't get there without help, whether that's parental help or whether that's help from programs that are in their communities. There's so many resources that are available for our young people. So we thought we'd talk about some of the programs, in particular programs that are with the YMCA's Youth Outreach. Today on the show, we've got two guests from the Y. Adrianna Flax is the Achievers Program Executive, and Joshua Love, Black Achievers Program Director. So thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
I think I've heard about Black Achievers with the YMCA for years now, it seems. You all have been doing some great work with young people through the years. But let's start with letting people know exactly what the Achievers Program is all about and kind of giving us an idea of how this all came about. We'll start with you, Adrianna.
Sure. So both of our Achievers programs, Black Achievers and Latino Achievers, are meant to increase the college application and college going rate of our youth of color in Nashville. So we pour resources into our kids, including curriculum and after-school programs and Saturdays that have to do with self-development, choosing your right college, career exposure, and we really support our kids as they figure out their passions and choose their path.
We talk about those passions, and as I said, our young people seem to have more powerful voices these days.
Absolutely.
They're not afraid to speak their minds, some would say. And I'm sure you find that in the groups of kids that come to you for services. Talk a little bit about the youth of today.
The youth of today, they are, like you said, they're very passionate. They with the cell phones and social media, they understand what's going on today. They're not afraid to speak their voices. And sometimes, as adults, sometimes we try to kind of cover it up, but the youth today, they find a way to really fight for the rights they believe in. So that's what I see today.
And so how do you make sure, because it's got to be a right way to have that fight, right? And you sometimes have to rely on those older ones of us to kind of guide you. I know they don't like to think so, but that is still the truth. So how do you guide youth so that they don't lose that momentum and that power that they have and the ambition and drive that they have, but make sure that you're guiding them in the right way?
Yeah, so what we really do is provide access, information, and exposure. And we empower our kids with those tools to form their opinions, their ideas, and reach their goals. And so with the right information, with the right positive engaged role models that our programs provide, our kids are really pointed in the right direction so that they can use that energy and that excitement toward making positive change in their lives and that of their communities.
Are you getting students who, for the most part, already have it going on? Or are you finding kids who do have the same struggles that our society sees, but they're looking for that help, that resource?
We have a little bit of both. We have students that do have it going on. We have students that have struggling for today's day. And the thing is, the mixture of both helps out, because sometimes those students who do have it going on need to know what's going on with the next person, and the next person needs to know that they are possible to reach their other goal. So we have a mixture of both students, and the thing is, we encourage the fact that we have that mixture. We want as many different students from different backgrounds involved in it with our programs.
You all talk about the gaps that are facing our young people, especially as they prepare for post-secondary life. Talk a little bit about the disparity and what you're seeing.
Sure. So what we found is that the kids who are coming to us in many of our programs at the Y and Youth Outreach, they lack information on the variety of career paths or in college options or how to pay for college. When our kids are first generation college students, there may not be somebody who has that information at home. And then even our kids who may be second generation college students, they always need somebody and an additional positive role model to walk alongside them. With school counselors overloaded, their caseloads are larger than ever, and our kids are in need of additional guidance and support. And so that's what we provide through our Achievers programs especially.
You also talk a little bit about cultural awareness, making sure they can identify for the true person that they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the thing is that's one of the values that we have for our programs, that, you know, being culturally aware, loving yourself is very valuable, and we felt like that once you have that cultural awareness of, you know, just loving yourself, it makes you a better person, it makes you more well-rounded, it makes you more be able to advocate for yourself, to have strength, because it's nothing like going somewhere and the self-esteem of self is low. If you have a low self-esteem of self, then, you know, your aspirations probably will not reach as high as it could. So that's very important for our programs.
And I bet that's where those role models come in as well, right? When you're trying to make sure you establish that self and keep those positive reinforcers going as well.
Exactly. And I'll say the role models, I always with the role models to establish that self of talking to our students, let them know that there's no road that's going to be straight. So I always tell my role models when we have guest speakers and we ask them, how did you get where you're going? Was it a straight line? I've always asked that question, and it helps out their self-esteem, because a lot of our students that I found, back to what you were saying earlier, that they have an idea of what they want to do, but they feel like that this is where I'm going to go, and this is how it's going to happen. But necessarily, it might not happen like that. You know what? That's okay. So
let's talk A's and B's of the Achievers program, so that, you know, young people, parents have an understanding of how they can get involved if they want to be involved. So I'm assuming you're looking for high school students versus middle school students. So kind of give us the breakdown on the prerequisite or the requirements for being in either one of those programs.
Sure. So we have programs in 7 metro public schools, and we meet in an after-school club model. And so it's always high school students, although at one of our schools, because the middle school is attached, we also always accept the middle schoolers who may be interested. And our kids come, there's no prerequisite in terms of income or family makeup. Anyone can come, and our door is open. So even, for example, with Latino Achievers, we have 25% of the kids are non-Latino, because the Y is welcoming for everyone, and so our Achievers programs. And so we're in an after-school club model, and then also Black Achievers meets on Saturdays in East Nashville, and both programs have weekend events throughout the semester, whether that be college tours or ACT prep or even scholarship workshops.
Talk a little more about some of those things that you're offering your young people, especially when it comes to those leadership tools that they may need as well.
Oh yes, we do. As far as our after-school programming, we do provide, well, not after-school, our Saturday programming, we have a curriculum, and then after the curriculum, we'll have leadership workshops on certain days. And then certain days we have cultural things, and then we'll talk about career and passion. And then we have guest speakers that come speak to that to enhance that those curriculum actions. So that's what we do. When we meet during the week, or those certain days that we're going on during lunch, we have lunch meetings too. Those lunch meetings is for our program is just a connection for our students. It's so many different students that we can talk to. There's so many students out there that sometimes just going for lunch and being there for 30 minutes and just have a conversation about maybe the current events of the day. Maybe they want to talk something personal. I've had things where I'm going to go in and we're going to talk about college today, but you know, we end up talking about relationships, and you know, which is still
on their mind, right?
Which is still important, because sometimes they have a negative outlook of what relationships supposed to look like, and I'm older, a little wiser, like, well, you know, maybe you don't need to go that way. Maybe you need to kind of say it a different way, and it helps out a lot. So, yeah.
I love that, though, because we think that we know what's on the minds of young people, right? But there are other things that might be bothering them. So the fact that they feel comfortable enough to come and say, yeah, I know we're supposed to be talking about college, but let me just tell you, this girl, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
That kind of makes it a really, I would think, more robust program than what you probably planned.
Exactly. It makes it a little bit bit more personable.
Yeah.
Because I've always say that students know when you care. They know when you don't care. They honestly do. And when they know you care, they're a little more open to talk to you. They're a little bit more open to or more acceptable to for your advice. So that is the positive thing about it. And sometimes you got to go against the protocol of what the idea of what you're going to talk about, and just go with what they want to talk about, and it helps out a lot. So
let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about the offerings. I know you're probably in need of some volunteers. You've got another couple of programs that fall under the youth enrichment umbrella at the Y. So let's get all that conversation in when we come back after this commercial break. We'll see you in just a little bit.